What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for visiting my channel. I do want to remind everyone that's watching to go down and hit the subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below what you think about Apple's upcoming event. As we are starting out, those type of interactions will be huge in order to show YouTube that people are interested and to promote my videos to others. If you do want to follow my uploads and keep track of when I'm uploading and watch my videos, turn on the bell notification and you'll be notified every time that I upload a video. That being said, let's get straight into it. So Apple is hosting their Gather Round event at the Steve Jobs Theater tomorrow, or maybe today, depending on when you're watching this. We know they will be announcing at least 2 new iPhones this year, but what exactly are the overlords at Apple planning for us? Let's find out. The first thing to consider outside of leaks and rumors when trying to predict what exactly Apple's going to announce at this year's event is their fiscal performance from last year. This is how Apple gauges customer interest, reception, and a product's viability. You see, the big controversy was charging $1,000 for a base iPhone. It was taboo, but people bought it and they bought it in droves. It actually was the best-selling iPhone in both Q1 and Q2 of this fiscal year, capturing roughly 12% of the mobile iOS market. In Q1 of Apple's most recent fiscal year, the average price of an iPhone sold hit an all-time high of $798. This is completely unprecedented. Granted, it was likely slightly inflated due to the iPhone X releasing at the beginning of the quarter, and there is always a spike in sales during the holiday season. However, the average still is sitting at $728 for Q2, which is still higher than any other point in the history of the iPhone. So that is the key here. While we did see an increase in sales overall for the iPhone in Q2, it is nearly negligible, and there was actually a larger decrease in overall sales in Q1, but they saw a bigger jump in revenue year over year directly from iPhone sales than they have since the launch of the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. So that means they can manufacture and sell less iPhones than before and still make significantly more money. But wait, that's just gross revenue. There was also a sharp increase in net profit and year-over-year net profit growth. And before you suggest that it was because of something else, they have 2 other major lines. The iPad, which has been steadily declining since 2013, and while the average price paid per unit has increased, it has only increased less than $20 more per unit than before, and it does not make up for the steadily declining sales. The other major line of products is Mac, who again had a spike in average price per unit with a record high of above $1,430, and still, with sales being down, it only raised the quarterly year-over-year revenue by a meager 0.1%. So who is the culprit for this 15% year-over-year increase in net profit? That would be the iPhone X. It sells for $1,000 for the base model, and cost estimates come back at around $370 to manufacture the iPhone, considering parts and labor. Of course, that doesn't take into account research and development, and I'm not saying that they don't have to spend anything on advertising, but we're looking at raw numbers here. And while the previous most expensive iPhone, the iPhone 7 Plus, did cost around $100 less to produce, it also costed only $770 brand new. That is $230 less than the iPhone X. So while it has maintained a very similar profit margin percentage-wise, they're raking in a lot more money as far as the actual dollar amount goes for profits. Okay, so what does this mean for the event? I think we're going to be seeing more of the same. Just for example purposes, if you were to show Apple that you would buy an iPhone without a headphone jack, and that would somehow save them money on manufacturing costs, they would sell you an iPhone without a headphone jack. It's the same thing here. If you show Apple that you're going to consistently buy a $1,000 iPhone, then they're going to keep producing $1,000 iPhones, and they're not going to make it cheaper. Here are my predictions on the phones that they will reveal. The first phone is definitely going to be the iPhone XS. I'm not sure what order they're going to announce these in, but this one's pretty much shored up as far as name goes. It looks like it's going to have a 5.9-inch OLED panel, and it's going to house Apple's new A12 processor as well as 4 gigabytes of RAM. There is a leaked photo showing this along with its big brother in a glossy gold looking finish. This phone's pricing seems to range as far as speculations go. It looks like it's ranging from about $800 to about $1,000. So they'll price it somewhere in between $799 and $999. My guess is that it's going to be $899 for the base model, and that it'll go up from there. The second phone, which is slightly more interesting, the big brother in the photo, I believe will carry a 6.5-inch OLED display on a phone that has roughly the same surface area on the face as the iPhone 8 Plus. Now that would be really interesting to see, because an OLED panel will provide much richer colors and a much more fluid experience. And the iPhone 8 Plus actually had a 5.5-inch LED panel, so it was much smaller. It'd be interesting to see how they're able to utilize all that space. This should come equipped with the same A12 processor that's in its little brother, as well as I am hoping for an upgrade to 6 gigabytes of RAM, but it very well could have 4 as well. As far as naming is concerned, I believe this one will be called the XS Plus. There are people speculating online that it may be called the XS Max, but I really don't see Apple leaving the Plus moniker for anything other than maybe Pro, as we saw them do with the iPad. This one should start at $1,000 and go up from there, if the smaller one does have a base price of $1,000, so $999. I could see this one launching at $1,099. Now, the third and possibly the most interesting iPhone that will be announced during this event is going to be Apple's budget option. The reason I put quotations around that is because it's said to launch between $650 to $700. And if you remember, the iPhone 7, a full-fledged flagship device, launched at $649. And the iPhone 8, another full-fledged flagship device, launched at $699. So this one will be priced like a previous flagship device, but it's going to be marketed as their budget option. With the front panel having no bezels and no home button, it should have Face ID. The difference is it's going to have an LED screen rather than OLED, so the picture probably won't look quite as good, but it should still be a pretty good display. I think that it will probably have an older processor, such as the A10 or something that is still sufficient to drive a device like that, but it won't have the flagship specs. It'll probably have 3 to 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it should only have one sensor on the back, where the others will have 2 camera sensors. As far as how the device feels, I also think it will probably be made out of some sort of cheaper material. That's just my own speculation. I'm not sure what they're actually going to do with that, but if we remember the iPhone 5C that they made just a few years ago, that actually launched at $549, that was made out of plastic, and it came in many different colors. So we could see something like that happen again, but on that front, I'm not sure. There'll probably be other small announcements made at this event, such as an update to the Apple Watch series, but the most important thing that we're all looking out for is the phones. If you are still watching this video, I do want to thank you so much for watching till the end. I want to remind you all to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Make sure and turn the bell notifications on if you do want to see more from me. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day.